Hey guys, so this week on our series called Building a Startup, this is actually episode number 3 of our video series of how we build our new startup called MobSur. MobSur is a software as a service that allows mobile app developers and mobile app companies to easily, with just 3 lines of code, add surveys or quizzes to their application. So the past couple of weeks, I've been telling you about our progress so far. And unfortunately, last week, our lead developer was unable to continue his work at a steady pace because he and his family got sick with COVID, unfortunately. But now, thankfully, he's feeling better. His family is also feeling much better. So last week, we were able to progress relatively quickly with what's left to do on the dashboard. And it looks like maybe there's still a chance for us to hit that 1st of September launch date, but we'll see how that goes. We'll know more at the end of this week. So hopefully next week I can give you an update if we're going to hit that launch date or not. But essentially, the development work has been going strong. Another thing that we've been progressing quickly with is actually generating leads and talking to clients. So our main strategy once we launch the product is going to be, number one, we're going to try to drive traffic to the website where people can sign up and start using the product from the website. And our next strategy, of course, is going to be actively selling to mobile app companies. We have a lot of those that we can talk to right away. There's a very nice ecosystem in our country. We're friends with a lot of the companies that are mobile app first. So we have already started talking to some of them, and I can happily report that the feedback from them has been more than amazing. It looks like we have hit a very interesting spot where everybody knows that this is a necessary thing to do, or at least when they hear about it, they understand that this is necessary to be done, serving, talking to your customers, to your mobile app users. But at the same time, they've never seen an easy to use tool that's going to allow them to actually do it quickly and without having to do a lot of extra work on developing a system for serving users in-house. So the feedback from potential customers has actually been great. We've talked to some of them on site here. We're conducting meetings with our friends here and asking for introductions from other founders to people that might be interested in using our product. And at the same time, we're also talking to potential investors. Like I've told you in the previous episode, we are talking to potential investors already. Now, another thing that I can give an update on is the grant funding that I mentioned last week. But first of all, let's finish the topic on sales and generating leads. Another positive thing to report upon is actually the fact that our cold outreach campaign has actually started generating results. We've sent about less than 200 emails, I think about 150 emails, and we already have 2 people have signed up for the beta, which I think is a great result because essentially we're sending an email for people to sign up, to be notified when the public beta is actually available. So it's super early. And like I said last week, we aren't expecting a lot of people to sign up. We're probably going to see more results once the product is actually ready and in the beta, or maybe some people don't even want to use it during the beta and they are going to wait for the actual release version of a product to be ready. I think this is actually a great result, and we're going to add more leads to the cold outreach campaign tool that we're using. I showed you how the campaigns are set up last week. Once the campaign is finished, I think that's going to be at the beginning of this week, I can show you the final results of this campaign. There's a 70% open rate on the emails, which I think is really high. At the same time, we have a clear winner from the 3 variants that I showed you last week. We have a clear winner of which one is actually performing the best. So I think it's been actually very successful, and I'm really happy with the results in the cold outreach campaign. And we're going to keep on adding more leads to it so that we can see more results once we're ready with the beta and then also the release version. Okay, and one of the other topics that I touched upon in the beginning of the video was the funding that I mentioned last week. It was actually an European Union grant. We as companies in the European Union are very lucky because there's a lot of EU funding that is available for startups and small to medium businesses. And we were trying to apply in one of those programs, the one that was recently opened after COVID. Some of the funds during COVID were reallocated to COVID relief programs. Some of those funds are now back to the innovation and other verticals that were available before COVID. So we tried to apply to one of these programs, but it turns out that we're actually not a good fit because the program is more geared towards manufacturing companies and companies that are developing software inside the company or buying software that is actually going to optimize the processes inside of those companies. And it's actually not a good fit for companies like ours and products like ours, which is actually going to be developed in-house, number one, and number two, is going to be sold to other customers to use. We're now also looking for other possibilities with EU funding, but essentially this program is obviously not a great fit. So we're now looking elsewhere. At the same time, I've also started preparing myself as the founder and CEO of the company. I've started preparing myself really hard to go down the VC funding route. I'm talking to my friends and peers here in Bulgaria, which have received venture capital funding. I'm trying to reconnect with some of them because during COVID, we didn't see each other too much. But yeah, what I'm doing now is preparing myself. I'm warming up my network. I'm reading a lot about VC funding. I'm going to leave a link to one of probably the best resources when it comes to VC funding and early stage VC funding, especially. And that's where we're at right now. There's a lot of information out there, but to be honest, most of it is actually not great. And this is actually one of the best resources that I've seen so far. It came highly recommended from most of my friends that have already gone down the VC funding route. So I feel like it might help other founders that are looking to go down the route with VC funding. So yeah, essentially, that was our status update for this week. We have great progress with generating leads. We have talked to several big customers. I'm talking to customers with many, many users to the mobile application. We're also making progress with funding. The EU grant funding is not a good fit for us, but we've already started the process of preparing ourselves for VC funding. And the development work on the actual product is going great. Our developer is back to work from COVID. His family is doing great. So thankfully, everything has turned out all right. And yeah, we're pushing hard this week. Maybe there's still a chance for us to hit the 1st of September launch date that we set before, but that's still not 100% clear. We'll have more clarity on that at the end of this week. So I'll hopefully be able to share with you what the launch date would be next week. So yeah, as always, thank you guys for your time. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please leave them directly under the video. I'd be happy to answer anything that you have on your mind. And yeah, thank you guys for your time and see you next week. Bye.